This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Right, there he is. All right, good lighting and everything. You have better lighting than Anthony Chang, by the way. Okay, so props to you. Oh, wait a minute. We can't hear you. I'm not hearing.
Oh, we got me?
Now we got you.
Okay. No, I'm putting up the ring light for I'm tired of all the criticism. I'm tired of getting trashed. So we'll have proper lighting every show now.
There we go. That's what we need. Proper lighting there. So, that's proper lighting so you can see my ugly face. Anyway,
Yes.
Really important question. Can I go bet the Predators tonight?
What are they? Home against Colorado or at Colorado?
At Colorado, bro.
They're at Colorado.
Yeah, I'm scoreboard watching here, bro.
That's a tough one. Maybe you could jump on the Predators like +1.5 might be a decent number just because Colorado hasn't been playing so well, so it might be a tight game.
The empty net goal always saves your ass with that.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. No, that's a tough one. I'll tell you, like the last couple weeks, betting has been great because the favorites have been hitting really consistently and hitting a lot of spreads. But the last few days, with everybody getting locked up and teams resting guys, and it's been a shit show. So it's like I had a great 10-day stretch of run, and then the last couple of days has just been a nightmare. So I'm really you mentioned betting, and I'm just like, oh, what do I do tonight?
We're down to just winning tonight, and it's over, correct? Because that by winning, it's a 2-point difference, and the Panthers win the tiebreaker, correct?
No, actually, I think Colorado has the tiebreaker because it's regulation wins.
We have more than they do.
No, not in regulation. We have more wins, but a lot of our wins came in overtime in the shootout. Remember, the Panthers set the NHL record for most overtime wins with 13.
Well, they have 56. We have 57.
Regulation wins?
Yeah, wins.
That's overall wins.
That's overall wins.
Oh, that's what it.
Yeah.
I got you now.
Yeah, the wins in 60 minutes count extra when it comes to the tiebreaker.
46-41. I got you.
Exactly. So the Panthers have to finish ahead of Colorado. The magic number is 3 points, which means if the Panthers win tonight and Colorado lose in any shape, way, or form, then the Panthers clinch. The Panthers win out, they get it. But they're still they got to get that 3 points.
All right. So tonight, what do you think?
I want to see what the lineup shakes out first. I think we're going to see at least 3 or 4 guys, regulars, come out, which it makes sense. At this point, they called up the 3 guys from the AHL yesterday, and Ottawa has been a very good team over the last maybe month or so. Ottawa has picked it up, as has Buffalo. A lot of those teams. It's funny, like the way that the Eastern Conference shook out this year, with 8 teams kind of head and shoulders above. There was no real fun playoff race. There was no underdog trying to get that 8th seed. But you think about the teams that might have been in that 8th seed, if it'd been more competitive, it would have been fun. You don't think about Buffalo or Ottawa or those kind of teams, having a chance. But no, it's been interesting this year, and that's why I'm definitely not taking Ottawa lightly at all. Montreal tomorrow. Montreal hasn't been playing very well. That's another story. Last game of the season, but Ottawa's a team that I would not sleep on.
By the way, A. Lenny Locksmith, the proud sponsor of both our segments with David and with George Richards. Make sure you give him a ring. You see the number there, 855-869-5625. If you're locked out of your home, you need to replace your home keys. You're locked out of your car, you need to get in your car. You need to reprogram the car keys. You need new car keys. They do it all, and it's a 24-hour locksmith service. And by the way, they service all of South Florida. They've got locations in Orlando and in Florida, and another one in Phoenix, Arizona, as they continue to expand across the country. So, A. Lenny Locksmith, make sure you support the folks that support us. All right, so going into this game, it almost sounds like he's going to balance right now rest with still trying to win the President's Cup. So is there a tug of war inside that locker room? Because players usually want a President's Cup. I don't know, but I get a feeling that this group wants to accomplish as much as possible. Not just winning the Stanley Cup, but pick up it's kind of like Zelda. You start picking up little things along the way, one of those kind of things.
Yes, great metaphor. I love it. No, honestly, I think this team, like the opinion, the feeling in the locker room is if they take care of business, that everything will kind of fall into place. So regardless of which players are out there, because you've seen guys have been in and out of the lineup all year and they never really hit a hiccup other than that one time at the end of December when it was like COVID was here and Barkov and Duclair were both hurt. And that was kind of a hodgepodge of, a bad time. But aside from that, regardless of who's been in and out of the lineup, the Panthers have been able to play their game. So I would imagine that they're going to just kind of continue on that trend. There's never been a sniff of any kind of controversy or anything negative come out of that locker room all year. And when you think about what's happened throughout the year with the head coach getting fired, all that's resigning and all that stuff happening, this team has just continued to be strong internally. And I think that's kind of fueled what we've seen on the ice. So yeah, the President's Trophy will be great. And by all means, they're playing against two teams towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, teams that they've, had a good chance against throughout the year. So I don't think they don't like their chances regardless, even if Matt Kierstead and Cole Schwint and these guys from the AHL, let's say Heponiemi, because why not? Let these kids get a shot. Let's show them what winning hockey is, what they have to look forward to. So I don't think that there's any discourse behind the scenes at all. I think they figure whoever's out there can get the job done.
All right, so George and I, he hasn't been as concerned. I get the feeling you're a little bit more concerned like I am. And he's, this whole thing about the Panthers have two good goaltenders. Yeah, but they don't have one great one. And so how important is it going into the Stanley Cup playoffs that somebody plays great? And if somebody doesn't play great, doesn't it become a pain in the ass for Brunette to try to figure out who the hell's got the hot hand from one night to another? I mean, I'd like to just it's the playoffs, dude. Settle down with one guy that is just on his head doing his thing. So what trepidations, if any, do you have with the goaltending situation with the Panthers, regardless of their offense and how explosive it is?
Well, you're kind of asking for like two extremes here with you got to have the hot hand or you've got a guy who's struggling and you need, who am I going to replace? I think with the Panthers, it's clear at this point they're going to go with Sergei Bobrovsky in the playoffs. I think to his credit, over the last couple of weeks, he's been playing maybe his best hockey of the season. He had those two disastrous games against Jersey and Toronto, which, you can't ignore. But you also looking at maybe the 6 or 7 games on either side of those two games, he's been pretty rock solid. And yeah, the leaky goals, I think that's always going to be a problem. I think for Bob, what the difference is, he's making more spectacular saves. He's making more keep my team in it, lift up the bench type saves, which is that I can live with that in the playoffs because this is a team, they're not going to score 5 goals a game every game in the playoffs, but they'll probably get 3.5 goals, 4 goals, a fairly high average, I would imagine, especially in the first round, regardless of whether it's Pittsburgh or Washington. They should be able to score on those teams. So I think it's going to be okay as long as Bob doesn't regress. And to his credit, he's looked like he's really getting focused, getting ready for the play. I mean, we've talked about goaltending probably every time we've spoken.
It's really the only little concern that I have for this. I'm not concerned about their defense actually right now, which is actually progress. I'm not really certainly not concerned about their offense. I'm certainly not concerned about the coach. He has shown me throughout the year after taking over that he's more than capable and has a good feel for that locker room. Obviously, the front office is top notch. There's nothing that I'm worried about except that's the only uneasiness that I have right now. I'm not telling you that oh my God, it's a real worry like it's been in the past. No, but that's the only thing that I can say. Damn, dude, I'm not worried about depth either on this team. I mean, no, they got it all, dude.
They're set. And look, to the credit of the goaltending situation, we have to at least be grateful as Panther fans that at this moment, it's where it is, that we can say Bob is trending up, that he's playing maybe his best hockey of the season, because it easily could have gone the other way. And we could be talking about a goaltending controversy heading into the playoffs, because really that's kind of what it was at last season. I mean, we've talked about it a lot. 3 goalies start 6 games in a playoff series, that's a recipe for disaster. You can't have that again this season. So I'm glad that it really looks like Bob is rounding into the form. I think he'll probably start tomorrow. Well, I mean, maybe they'll throw the Johansson out there tomorrow. I really don't know what the plan is. I know Bob wants to play. He wants to play every single minute available to him. So if it was up to him, he'll be out there tomorrow in Montreal. But either way, just to kind of wrap up the point, I feel better right now about the goaltending heading into the playoffs than I thought I would a few weeks ago. And I'll take that as a win.
All right, what do you got coming up here covering the Cats at WPLG and chirping the Cats?
I mean, it's all about the playoffs right now, right? The team should be back in the next couple of days, and we can really start honing in on an opponent, whether it's going to be Washington or Pittsburgh. Hopefully we'll find out in the not too distant future. But I mean, at this point, whichever one, you're either getting Alex Ovechkin or Sidney Crosby, in the twilight years of their career. They're still spectacular Hall of Fame players putting up ungodly numbers, but maybe not as scary as they were, 5-6 years ago. But I mean, either way, the Panthers are going to have a good test, and they're going to have to take down, a team that's won the Stanley Cup in recent years, whichever one it is. So I think there's going to be a lot of focus, at least for me, on who they're playing against, matchups, who the Panthers are going to be putting out, how the lineup. So it's all going to be about what it's going to look like for Game 1, which is coming up in just a few days. I am super hyper focused on the playoffs right now. I'm so excited about the playoffs, Orlando.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm with you there. I got a little distracted because, as you know, we'll tell people how the meal is made at times. So, when other people are coming up, they pop in. And so Ira pops in and he's eating while you're answering questions. So the question I have for you is, after when we do bring on Ira in a moment, was Ira eating cereal, oatmeal, or was that something else? What are we going with? The
first thing that popped into my head was cereal. That's probably what I but you see, you never want to have the milk and cereal close to the computers because a bad sneeze or something. So I don't know. Ira's a very thoughtful guy, and a Panther fan as well. I've seen Ira at Panther games in the past. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think cereal sounds more yummy, but oatmeal is the responsible decision. So maybe I'll go with oatmeal.
It is the healthier choice out of
yes.
The two. There's no doubt about that. So I'm going to go cereal. You go oatmeal. We'll find out in the next segment here when we go into the inside the paint. All right, my brother, tell them about Chirping the Cats radio or podcast.
No, just now we're reminiscing. There'll be a playoff preview episode coming up in the next few days once everything gets ironed out and we kind of know what we're going to be focused on. There'll obviously be a lot of content at Local 10 as well. I will be at hopefully every playoff game. That's the plan. And yeah, I mean, really, it's just let's ride. I'm at the point now, Orlando, where it's like the table's set. Bring me my food. Let me eat. Let's do this.
I'm with you there all the way, my brother. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. Please subscribe to his podcast, Chirping the Cats. And, of course, catch his work there at Local 10. Appreciate you as always, my brother. We'll catch up next week.
See you then.
Got it. There you go. It's our lockdown segment. ALennyLocksmith.com.